Meanwhile, in Kenya, the deputy president, who is facing impeachment, pleaded not guilty in a Senate hearing on Wednesday to all charges, including corruption, stirring ethnic tensions, and supporting anti-government riots that saw rioters attack the country's parliament. Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, who claims that the allegations are politically motivated, might become Kenya's first sitting deputy president to be impeached. Court rulings this week allowed the Parliament and Senate to proceed with the impeachment debate despite concerns over irregularities raised by the Deputy President's lawyers. The impeachment motion was accepted by Parliament last week and forwarded to the Senate. Well, his legal team will cross-examine witnesses, with the Senate voting this evening. To pass an impeachment motion, the Senate must have a two-thirds majority. Well, let's discuss this more and get more perspectives from Beatrice Kairu. She joins us from Nairobi, Kenya. It's good to have you join us on The World Now. First off, I'd like to ask what your perspective is to the ongoing impeachment probe against the deputy president. Do you believe also that the process is a political witch hunt?
Yes, indeed, it is a political witch hunt because the views of the Kenyan citizens, they feel that the people who actually set up the motion based in the parliament and even those in support of this impeachment motion, they themselves have done the same evils that the deputy president is actually being impeached for those issues. So the Kenyan citizens feel that they should actually start from the top, that is with the president himself, because those accusations against the deputy president, the president himself has actually done them. And even the leader of the majority, who actually was propagating this motion, has also been accused of the same. So the Kenyan citizens feel that it's either both of them leave government and we start afresh, but we cannot have one remaining, and yet the person who is remaining is actually accused of the same evils himself when he was the deputy president of the previous regime.
But, coming from the riots we had in the past months, and some persons would say that fighting against corruption might be one of the high points of any government in Africa. And here you're saying that Kenyans are not satisfied or unsatisfied with President Ruto's anti-corruption policy. But really, what do you say makes it a political witch hunt?
Makes it a political witch hunt because the president himself is accused of corruption. Look at the story of Adani Group that is actually being given the JKIA airport. Look at the healthcare system that is actually being given to Adani Group. And this Adani Group did not actually participate in the procurement process, which was not also transparent. And the president himself, his son, is being accused of being part of the companies that are actually going to be part of this Adani Group. So when you look at it, Kenyans don't have trust with this regime because this regime itself is corrupt in itself. And they're wondering, if you are corrupt yourself, how come you're calling your brother corrupt without you yourself declaring that you're corrupt yourself? So the Kenyans are feeling that this is it's not in good faith. They feel that actually they're accusing the president is witch hunting his deputy because he's going, the deputy maybe decided that they need to cut a share of the corrupt deals or of the looting. And because of that, the president felt it's better he looks for another deputy president who will allow him to do corruption without asking him major questions. Remember, the deputy president keeps saying that his people, that is from his backyard, his constituents, must actually have a share of this shareholding, which they call the government. And that is one of the areas that the deputy president is actually being impeached on, of saying that the Kenyan government is a shareholder company. So the question is, the Kenyans are asking, if the chief corrupt person, that is the president himself, why is he castigating the deputy president? That's because he wants to put in peace
against the president. Right, but in the light of the impeachment process, right, can you walk us through the constitutional provisions guiding the removal of a deputy president?
According to the constitution, the motion must begin from the lower house, that is the parliament. And once the two-thirds of the parliamentarians actually support the motion, then now it goes to the Senate. So based on the argument people had that the parliament did not actually look at all the 11 that the deputy president was accused of, they just did what we call a sham of the discussion of that motion, and all of a sudden they decided to actually impeach him. And then when you look at the Senate right now, today is day 2, we see that they are actually going detail by detail for all the 11. Remember, there was a public participation that the parliament had actually subjected the citizens of Kenya, and the citizens felt that they did not want the impeachment of the deputy president because there's no point of impeaching one person and leaving the other, yet both of them are corrupt. They should actually go, both of them. So the parliamentarians now, once they pass the motion, now it goes to the Senate. The Senate, they are actually looking for only 17 senators who will actually decide based on each category of what the president has been accused of. They are going then to vote. And to save the deputy president, you only need 17 senators to actually support him. And then the motion will not, he will not be impeached. But if in the case scenario where he's impeached by the Senate, where he does not get a majority of the votes, then definitely the next thing that he has actually tried to look at is the court. Remember, he had tried to go to the courts to stop the impeachment process, but the court decided they do not want to stand in the way of the process the Senate and the Parliament had already begun. So we are waiting to see once if he's impeached, then he still has the legal route to follow so as to actually stop him being removed from office. But remember, the president has not yet spoken about the impeachment of his deputy, raising a lot of concerns from the Kenyan citizens, wondering why does the president have an ill motive, because he's silent and he's seeing how his deputy is being castigated. Yet the former president, when he was deputy, he did not actually move a motion against him to impeach him, yet they knew the scandals that he was involved in.
Former governorship aspirant in Kenya, Beatrice Cairo, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts. Hopefully we'll get you to come back and talk to us more about this developing story. Thank you so much for your time.
All right. Thank you very much.